Hey everyone, in this video we are going to take a look at the free-to-use 3D modeling application MagicaVoxel, which is available from GitHub. So in this video we're going to take a look at the pattern tool. So we've mentioned that there are 6 tools and I've really only covered 5 of them. What makes pattern different is these other ones have predefined shapes associated with them, such as drawing out a block or a circle or a line. Pattern tool is actually based on what you see over here on the right. So if you create a project and you save it in the Vox folder, you can then load up that project by clicking on the name. So if you click on, say, ISO block grass, it loads. Now, if I was in the middle of a project, if I'd made changes to that block, I'd get a warning saying you're about to load a new project. But these are all also available if you click up here on the paintbrush. It's now pattern, and it's not a coincidence that it's the same name. These are both pattern because this defines the shape of this tool. So this entire block you can paint with. So this is really how you'd make larger environments, is that you would make individual blocks, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, it is a voxel tool, but by making an object really big, you can get rid of that voxel look if you want. But maybe you're putting up a bunch of shutters or a bunch of windows. So it's not just blocks specifically, but maybe you're assembling like a large apartment building and you want to put up 30 windows and not draw 30 windows. You can use the pattern tool to simply rinse and repeat. So let's actually see this in practice. So this, as you can see, is 20, 20, 20. So it's 20 blocks in each direction, and that includes the space at the top, okay? So let's change this to 100, 100, 100, so we can fit 5 in each direction. First thing, let's get rid of the pre-existing one. So we're going to do Control-Alt, so standard soft key to select all, and then the delete key to delete. Now again, with the paintbrush here selected for pattern and the pattern tool and attach selected, this is a little bit fiddly. You got to make sure you have the right mode for the tool. You can then click on that same one and ISO block grass, and you can start painting. So let's rotate around. If you want, you can put on the grid. The grid, I think, has diminishing value when this gets larger, but it still helps. So you just line this up at the corner, and we paint it there. And then you just paint it there. Just rinse and repeat. And since it's 100, 100, 100, then there should not be any blank pixels to the side here. You can see it goes right to the edge. Same for this edge. So it should line up nice and smoothly along every axis. Okay, so we've done that. But do we really want to have to use the blocks all over again to do another row? The answer is no, we don't have to. So using, again, soft keys, this time we do Control-A to select all, but then Control-C to copy, and then Control-V to paste. Again, Control-C, Control-V, those are typical Windows soft keys. Over here, click on the plus sign. This is the Move tool, and we're just going to move this forward. Just be mindful of which axis, which plane you're looking at. And there, should be no gaps. So that should be lined up, that should be lined up. No gaps on any side. There you go. Now, say you want there to be a river here. There's a river that has to be crossed. Well, we have another block for that. We have ISO block water. We go back to pattern. We go back to attach, and now you're painting with a block of water. If you're wondering why the bottom is purple, was meant to be brown, it's because I started with this purple, and I changed it. So, like, if you click on the purple, and then you click on color down here, you can modify it. You can just, typical color selector, you can make this like a brownish color. You can see it changed. Well, what you would ideally do is you would save this. See this little icon? You would save your modified palette. And that way, when you save your project, it brings the palette with it. And if it doesn't, you could just use this folder to open and overwrite this palette. But it's just one color, so I'm not going to worry about that. But yes, you can create a custom palette. You're not stuck with these. All right, so let's start lining this up. Now, as you can see, this block is shorter, and that's by design. We didn't want the water to be, up to the level there. We wanted there to be a little bit of a gap. And again, that's an aesthetic choice. You could do whatever you want. And there you go. Just like that, you have a nice little river. And I'm just making sure that everything's lined up. Now, what if you say, gee, I really wanted a bridge over that, but my bridge is a block in and of itself, and I can't just overlay it? Well, what you can do is this. As I mentioned, the other tools have 3 modes. Well, so does this one. So if you change this to erase, you're now erasing an entire block worth. So you could just do that. You could just erase a block. Now, some isometric games, one block is one movement, so you would need to make sure you line this up exactly correct. I can't guarantee that's going to happen, so I'm just going to let you know this is available, that you can use a block to delete, but we're actually going to just undo a few levels. There we go. So again, you can use the pattern to erase, but if precision is important, then you have to be careful about that. So we'll go back to pattern, attach, and we will now go to ISO block bridge. And again, this is utilizing the current palette, and so the bottom color of this is correct. That lines up nice. And then we go back to ISO block water and just keep doing what we were doing. Yep, no gaps, nothing cut off. Now, if you notice, this is still selected here. That really wasn't intentional, but that certainly could work to our favor. So let's again do Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. And click on the plus sign and see if we can indeed move this. Yes, we can. So I won't say a happy mistake, but, and then we will copy and paste again. Again, that's just Control-C, Control-V. I don't have a prompt on my screen showing what I am clicking on, but that's what I'm doing. And there. And now you've made yourself an isometric map. You could put this into your game, and maybe maybe this in itself might get used by a tile, like a tile. So this block would then maybe be extended out 2 or 3 times because you want a long river with multiple bridges, or maybe you would make a version that doesn't have the bridge, so on and so forth. And it's just rinse and repeat at this point. I only used 1 grass block, but you could make multiple grass blocks. You can also do things like use translucence, so you can make the water see-through. And I really think that's it for this video. I really just wanted to show you how the pattern tool can be used in conjunction with the pattern version of the projects that you've previously made. So if you're thinking about making a full-on environment like this using MagicaVoxel, you certainly can. And this is also not the largest size. I only used 100, 100, 100. You can go up to 255, 255, 255. Having said that, if you're using an even denomination of 10, then you'd stop at 250. And that should about do it. So if you have any questions or anything else that you want to see, just let me know. But I hope you found this useful, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.